Kenneth Okonkwo has continued to label Peter Obi a weakling over his inability to defend the mandate which was given to him by Nigerians.
What Alex Otti did was purely legal by the constitution of the Labour Party.
Recall that many, not just Kenneth Okonkwo, has continued to label Peter Obi a weakling. They claim that Peter Obi would have stood his ground over the outcome of the 2023 election.
Any politician who is not willing to go the way of Governor Sim Fubara, to stand up to resist criminality, illegality, to stand up to say, if I perish, I perish, but I will do the right thing. I will stand for democracy, stand for rule of law, stand for my people because they voted for me. Any politician who is not ready for that resistance and protest should step aside. What Governor Sim Fubara is doing is absolutely correct. He's resisting intimidation, manipulation. He's resisting people who want to take over River State and the local government in a manner that the Constitution has not decreed. The same people that were shouting that Governor Fubara was governing River State with caretaker committee are the same people that want to frustrate the election. That is how insincere liars operate in government. What they are fighting for is their pocket. It is their positions and power, not the people. And the people must rise up to defend themselves from these leaders. So what Governor Sim Fubara did and is doing is in order, and I support it. What the IGP of police has done is illegal, is ungodly, is criminal. He should apologize to the people of River State, and he must make sure that not even one hair of anybody in River State falls to the ground, because the law is clear. The police is there to maintain law and order. So the police cannot withdraw in any circumstance from any situation that could cause chaos. The police cannot dabble into political issues. IGP is dabbling into political issues. He must withdraw from it, and he must make sure that the orders are maintained in River State. And the chief security officer in River State is Governor Sim Fubara, and his orders should be maintained. And any lawyer, any judge, any court that is not upholding the rule of law should be held responsible and accountable. I've said it that when it comes to electoral jurisprudence, our judges have not lived above board. Let me make it clear that I am embarrassed that a lower court can go against the decision of the Supreme Court, and even in a manner that I believe that Supreme Court is even right. So you can't even be talking about judicial activism, because, okay, let me give you an example. Can you imagine if the 4 years term of this regime is coming to an end, and a court gives an order that the election will not hold, and then I hope the IG of police will remember to go and take the order and say he's stopping people from going to vote on that day, because electoral bodies are meant to be independent, and the law is that they should not receive any direction or control from anybody. So a court giving an order that election will not hold in River State, knowing it will constitute constitutional crisis, knowing it will deny River State from even its allocation from the federal government, that judge has not upheld the tenets of justice and rule of law. As a lawyer, I cannot support that by any iota of imagination, because the whole idea of interpretation of constitution is to give value to it, not to destroy it. Do you know, in law, if you have a motion, for instance, seeking to destroy the rest, and there is a motion seeking to preserve the rest, even that motion seeking to preserve the rest, even if it came last, it will be treated first. That's the position of the law. Then you have people saying there is a judgment to destroy the rights of the Rivers people to vote. And they're saying there is another judgment that says go and vote. And you're telling me which one will I choose? When there is a superior judgment of the Supreme Court that has settled the matter. Why would they even dabble into it? And they will say the facts are different. What do they mean by that? That is judicial trickishness. That's judicial craftiness and cunning. The whole idea is hold election within 90 days. And the duty of every person and every authority in Nigeria is to ensure that the order of the Supreme Court and the provisions of the Constitution is obeyed. And so the judges, whoever partook in that, should be disciplined. That's my opinion. And if you recall, even the law that says 1993 election should hold, if you recall, that law ousted the jurisdiction of the court to give any order to stop it, just as it is in our laws today. And yet a judge went ahead because some military boys did not want the election again. They wrote the law and they used the instrumentality of the court to want to destroy the election. But something happened. The NEC then, under Professor Nwosu, refused, and they went ahead to conduct the election. And the election was conducted and a winner emerged. Then the same military boys went and forcefully stopped the announcing of the result, still wanting to use the courts. And this is where Nwosu lost it. He would have proceeded to complete the announcement and announce the result. Why run away and chicken out? And many years after, even after when the man had died, you're coming to say you are announcing he won. No. If you want to do the right thing no matter the consequences. If you don't want to do the right thing, keep quiet and keep quiet forever. That's why when people want to marry, they will say, if you know anything that wants to stop these people to marry, come and talk, or forever remain silent. From now onwards in Nigeria, if you're given a duty, do it. Whoever wants to stop you, say no. Go ahead and do it. That's the only way we can be saved from this crop of leaders. They don't have conscience, they don't respect the rules, and they want to corrupt everybody. So please, if Nwosu refused to obey the injunction not to conduct the election and proceeded to conduct the election and started announcing the result, he wouldn't have succumbed to the blackmail of the military boys then. He would have proceeded to complete the announcement and announce the winner and finish his job. And whatever happens to him, he would have known he has done his job. That is what Sim Fubara is doing. He said, if you shoot me, go ahead. You will go down in history as the most wicked and callous IGP that killed Fubara. When you want to take over the leadership of your place, or you want to represent your people, what were you thinking? You think leadership is a common case? No. Esther said, if I perish, I perish. Whenever you are in leadership, look at what happened to Donald Trump. In America, where security is everywhere. Yet, 2 times now they wanted to kill him. Every profession has its own risk. If you're not willing to take the risk that is attached to any profession, step aside so that people who are given that mind by God will go ahead and serve God in that capacity. If you're an actor and an actress and you say you're not going to hug babes and you're not going to kiss them, step aside. Because that's what the job is. Don't come and say you're a born-again Christian. That's what the job entails. If you're a politician and you can't stand for your people that voted for you, and because you don't want to die, step aside. Because that's what the job entails. Any politician that is not behaving like Sim Fubara who will resist and protest when his rights are trampled upon, knowing that our judicial system, knowing that our electoral system have failed us, that any politician who will not stand his ground, no matter the risk to his person, I said I will not speak for that politician again, and I maintain it. And you can see what is happening, because we can't go forward. We calm down. If Sim Fubara has been saying calm down, do you know where River State would have been? He said he's ready for them. He's fully prepared. The election must go on. The election must hold. Winners must be declared. They will be sworn in. And whatever is going to happen, let it happen. I am looking for leaders who would say nobody will rig my election. And if you rig my election, I will fight. Nigerians, come out and fight. If they kill anybody, let them kill all of us. Oh yes, and thank God I'm seeing it happen. What Fubara did, was he advocating for violence? Was he advocating that the law should be broken? No, he was advocating for his right. That's my opinion. That's my advocacy. We must advocate for our right and stand by it. I did not disqualify anybody. I don't have that right. I said I am not going to speak for anybody going forward except this person meets this criteria. In any case, we have finished 2023 election. It's over. 2027 election has not come. So anybody who is saying betrayal, what am I betraying? There is nothing on ground. When I was a spokesman in 2023, I did my job creditably well, and we convinced Nigerians on what we believe is right. But you can see that in Nigeria, you not only have to have the power to win election, you have to have the power to defend your election. So anybody that does not have that spirit of power to defend the votes in a manner that you would say, whatever happens to me as a person, let it happen. I am not willing to speak any further for the person. So what I just simply said is that going forward, I will no longer be part of this until these fears are addressed. So I did not disqualify anybody. One, I don't have that power. Then two, I am not betraying anybody because I'm still a member of Labour Party. And you can see I'm still fighting that Labour Party should be consolidated because Nigerians are looking for an alternative to these people. But if you want to fight these people who are compulsive thieves and who are the worst amongst us, leading us, according to Senator Ndume, who is part of them, then you have to grow higher and be more aggressive than calm down. That's what I said, and I stand by it. In all honesty, I would have said we don't. But because I'm a student of theology, I would not say so. Because when Elijah thought he was the only person that was worshiping God, God said, no, you're not the only person. There are more than 7,000 persons like you still in that country that have not done anything evil. I know them. So the only thing we have to do in this country, we must not be sentimentally attached to anybody, any politician. We must not be loyal to political parties or politicians. We have to be loyal to the country and to the law. And if any law is unjust, we have to fight the law. If anybody is doing anything illegal, no matter who the person is, we have to fight the person. So in Nigeria, we must create the environment so that those 7,000 that we do not know who are leaders will be able to begin to emerge. If the good ones keep quiet, they will never emerge. When people say people are selling their votes, you know why they are selling their votes? Because they believe that even if they vote their conscience, it will not count. Not because they want to be corrupt. They saw what happened in 2023. I was an active participant in that election of 2023. They did not sell their votes. But after, it did not count. So they'll be like, why would I go and say I'm voting for my conscience when it will not count? If I'm going to take this money, at least it will be what I gain. So if we don't fight, we are making the people that want to do the right thing to even lose confidence. That is why we must have to rise up to defend democracy. We must make sure that our votes count and are counted in every election. Otherwise, people will not see the reason to vote their conscience. Because even if they vote their conscience, it will not count. So in Nigeria, there are still a lot of men and women that are not corrupt. I may not know them, but they will emerge. There are still a lot of judges that are not corrupt. I can say that. Because I won a lot of cases as a litigator, and I have never met any judge privately. If every judge is corrupt, that means I wouldn't win any case. So I can say that there are judges in our court that are not corrupt. We may not know them, but we must create an avenue to defend such ones when the hawks that are corrupt want to swallow them up. So also in all the departments, ministries, agencies in Nigeria, there are politicians that are not corrupt. There are Nigerians that are not corrupt. Why is it that when Nigerians go outside Nigeria, they perform creditably well? It is because by their nature they are not corrupt. But it is the environment that is helping to make them corrupt. It is the poverty, the hunger and hardship that are contributing to tempt them to be corrupt. I want to tell you, it's not every Nigerian that is corrupt. It's not every judge. It's not every civil servant that is corrupt. But we must fight so that those people will have the courage to arise. I cannot ever remember myself being corrupt in anything. I do my best. I say the truth, and I will leave the rest to God. Does that mean I'm ascribing perfection to myself? Then that means I am not honest. I am not even a good man. There is only one that is good, and that's God. The only thing I know is that I'm an honest man. And we must fight to save our country. We are now at the edge of a precipice, and every Nigerian should not keep quiet. We must fight for our country. We don't have any other country. What Alex Otti did was purely legal by the constitution of the Labour Party. Article 13, 2A talked about the composition of the NEC, the National Executive Council of Labour Party, and the governor, elected governor, and the deputy, III, is a member of the NEC. And the presidents and general secretaries of the labor unions manning the labor centers are members of the NEC. The women the chairman of the women commissions of the labor centers, they are members of NEC, statutory members. So immediately INEC, not even Labour Party, rejected Abure, and rightly too, for not conducting any convention known to law. The only set of people remaining as members of NEC are the statutory members, which include Dr. Alex Otti and his deputy, the presidents of NLC and TUC, and their general secretaries, and the chairman of the women commissions of Labour Party. By the constitution which Abure gave to me when I came to Labour Party, it was not Labour Party that declared Abure's seat vacant. It was INEC, and he was disgraced out of INEC. And Labour Party has always insisted that there will be a party of rule of law, because Article 8C is very clear that the aim and objective of Labour Party is to create a new Nigerian personality that is altruistic, that is patriotic, and that is committed to rule of law and due process in all spheres of our national life. And so that's why we're fighting, and I will continue to fight that the right thing should be done. Abure did not conduct any convention. Can you imagine? I said I was not even aware that a convention was going on. And do you know what? They missed the point. At least INEC has a bragging right now that it is more honest than some group of people in Nigeria. INEC can now claim that at least it is more honest than the Abure-led, expired Abure-led NWC of Labour Party. They did not give any notice known to law to INEC. First of all, they say they gave a notice by December for a convention that will hold by March. The question is, which notice? They say they gave a notice to INEC about a purported convention that will hold in Umuahia in a different date. Please, did Abure and his cohorts hold any convention in Umuahia? Good. Does that not invalidate it? They say they gave another notice for one convention that will hold in Edo. Please, was there any convention held in Edo? The only notice they are saying they gave to INEC for a purported convention held in Nnewi was 6 days to the time. That was when INEC received it. Please tell me any law that says you will give notice to INEC for 6 days to hold any convention. And the law is clear by section 82.5 that any convention without such valid notice is invalid. That's the law. Apart from that, it's an insult to INEC that you're giving INEC 5 notices for a convention, and all of them are speaking of different things. You know the danger in that, if INEC accepts it, there are about 18 political parties. If each party will be giving INEC 5 notices for a convention and they're accepting it as normal, they would have about 90 notices to treat. And then 6 days to the time. Let us assume you told INEC you're going to have your convention in Sokoto, and they mobilized everything waiting for you to have it in Sokoto. Okay, let me even give you an example. If you said you are going to have your convention in Abuja, and they mobilized their people, with the cost of fuel now, they can just trek from their office to Abuja. And they have done everything like that, not allocating money for flight, not allocating money, then a day to the time. Because once you accept, you will accept for 6 days, which the law does not permit. That means somebody can come a day to the time. So a day to the time, you come to INEC and say, no, you've changed your notice. It is not going to be in Sokoto. And it might be in a town close to Niger Republic, where they will need to mobilize their people in terms of flight, in terms of accommodation, in terms of everything. If you allow INEC to allow the illegality that Abure and his colleagues perpetrated to stand, then INEC has opened itself to such illegality that 18 other parties will be exploiting it, and they will cite that one as precedence. INEC did the right thing by making it clear that Abure did not organize any convention known to law. But here is another thing. Convention is for the members of Labour Party. It's not for INEC. Can Abure and his colleagues tell the world where any one notice was given to the members of Labour Party that there's a convention? One notice. Because the law is clear. In section 82, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act, that the executive of the party must be elected by the members of the party or their elected delegates. And then he did not even give notice at all to members of Labour Party. At all. No media house announced it. So it's not even INEC. INEC's own is to come and monitor. But the people that ought to be the ones to conduct convention, to vote in the convention, are the members of the party or the elected delegates. Nothing like that happened. So are you trying to say that a president will now be created in Nigeria where people will not involve the members of a political party, and they will come out and announce themselves that they are leaders of that party, and you say it will be allowed to stand? That's another madness. Abure had an agreement with all the stakeholders that he was going to organize an all-inclusive convention. He did not do it. The law says that he should step aside because his regime is over. The members of the Labour Party did not vote. Will it surprise you to note that Labour Party does not have any executive at any level? Not at ward level, not at local government level, not at state level, not at the national level. And somebody is claiming to be the national chairman, and he has been there for years. If you're a member of that party, if you're supporting such a person, are you not insane? Whoever is supporting Abure and his cohorts, that person is insane. Governor Fubara's psychiatric hospital should be recommended for that person. No, how can you come and you're supporting an executive that did not even say you're a human being, that did not even invite you? Have you ever seen a national convention where none of the posts, none was contested? None. In the so-called convention, no position was contested for. Can you imagine? The national chairman seat, nobody contested for it. The journalists were not allowed to come in to see people voting. Do you call that convention? There was no convention at all in the eyes of the law. And INEC simply said, there was no convention. We don't have any report. We were not invited in a manner known to law. And members of the Labour Party, including me, he said, I was not aware. I saw it on the social media. And it is true. And I was a spokesperson. No, will I be telling myself the truth if I ever support such a convention? What mouth will I use to condemn another political party? At least the difference is that in the Labour Party we are fighting. And we will win. Because the victory of good over evil is settled. So in Labour Party, what Alex Otti did, and that appointment of Nenadi Usman and Dalitin Wokocha, is purely according to the constitution of Labour Party. Because when the NWC expired and INEC accepted it, then the legitimate members of the NEC, which are 33 members, met as NEC. And the Labour Party constitution gave them the right to appoint the executives of the NWC in between conventions. It is there by the right of NEC, by Article 13(2)(b). They have the right. So they just appointed it in accordance with the Labour Party constitution. 2019. That was what happened. Purely legal. It was not an imposition. It was their right. And you saw how Alex Otti went about it. He invited everyone, including the Abure group. Every stakeholder in Labour Party was invited. At least Abure did not invite the members of Labour Party when he did his own convention. Alex Otti invited every stakeholder. So which one by equity do you prefer? And by law? So the law is on his side. And Labour Party did what they should do by the constitution of Labour Party and by the laws of Nigeria.
When you see Kenneth Okonkwo's appearance, you would think he's a perfect gentleman who cannot hurt a fly. But going by some of his words recently, you can see that you can never judge a book by its cover. He looks like a man who can go violence where they need to call for it. However, what do you think about his take on this matter?